Welcome aboard, I'm your host, TCG Pirate King, aka the Gaming Governor, and today we're talking about Magic Mail Monday. As always, if you like this video and want to see more content like it, subscribe to the channel, and to make sure that you're not left behind on the grand line, hit the bell icon so that you're aware of when a new video drops. Alright, without any further ado, let's get into it. So the first card we're going to talk about is Icotation. I could take it, you could take it, we could take it, let's go out together. Icotation Skirmishers. Someone will have to correct me down below how that is pronounced. But the reason why I spec'd this card before was because I wanted to get a few cards in my collection that said banding. And this says bans, first strike, it bans with other creatures. All creatures that banned with skirmishers to attack gain first strike until end of turn. So I kind of liked this. It is from Fallen Empires. It is only about a $1.10 card, and it was, as you can see, over $3 for a minute, and that was just before Modern Horizons 2, but I kind of thought that with us returning to Dominaria and with Legends being added to, I wasn't entirely sure if we were going to be seeing any mechanics that brought banding or bans, but I was kind of right and wrong at the same time, though, because as far as me being correct, there was an ability that did come out that's very similar to bans, and that's the only reason why I'm also wrong, is because it's not bans, it is only similar, and that would be Enlist, which we did see on some of the Banalish cards. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next card in our list. Alright, and moving on to our next card, this is Audric Master Tactician. I ended up picking 4 copies of this up because I couldn't believe that it's only a 24-cent card. Now, I know that this isn't going to go in every single deck. However, it does have first strike, and it says, whenever Audric Master Tactician and at least 3 other creatures attack, you choose which creatures block this combat and how those creatures block. So when you think of Mardu, when you think of Selesnya, when you think of mono white, when you think of white blue, well, actually I can't believe I just said white blue would be Azorius, but when you think of these colors that are just token spamming large armies, it is so easy to get this at least 3 other creatures off. When you think even Naya now, because we've got so much help from the recent Capenna set, this is only going to go up in value, I believe, and not necessarily financial value, but deck value. I definitely like seeing this in a lot of my deck builds lately. I like the ability to just say none of my opponent's creatures block this turn, which is a way in which I can choose which creatures block. I could say none of them do, and then I just get to go through on their directly. If even with the new Phyrexian cards, can you imagine putting this into a deck that has Infect and you attack with Audric plus 3 Infectors, and now you're just saying, oh, you know what? I'm going through for free. I like this card. I don't expect it to go very high in value, but I definitely think that this belongs in a little more of the 99. I hope some people see what I'm talking about and pick this up. Moving on to the next card on our list, we're going to go ahead and talk about Zur the Enchanter, but I'm going to surprise you. I'm not just talking about Zur the Enchanter, I'm also talking about Zur Eternal Schemer. Now, Zur Eternal Schemer is the new card from Dominaria United that just came out, and I am happy to say that this card is coming out because I am a huge fan of Zur the Enchanter, and I haven't been able to get my hands on a copy for quite a while, and it's not because of his price, as we all know. He's basically a $5 card. There are versions that are $2, there are versions that are $8, but he is basically a $5 card, so really the only thing that was keeping me from him for the longest of times was other cards, other places where money needed to go, anything that wasn't a $5 Zur the Enchanter. Well, I recently did get my hands on this guy, and I feel like it's really great timing, especially with the new card Zur the Eternal Schemer, because these two work together. So I recommend that if you do not have a copy of Enchanter yet, you do pick one up. If you do not have a copy of Eternal Schemer, which I'm sure you don't, you might want to pre-order. You might want to at least keep an eye on the card for when it comes out. You'll notice that the Enchanter here searches your deck and brings out an enchantment converted mana cost 3 or less and puts it right from the deck onto the battlefield. Whereas Zur Eternal Schemer says that your enchantments that you control, that your enchantment creatures that you control have Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof. You put these two cards together, and you were just consistently spamming out your enchantment creatures from your deck and making them incredibly powerful. And with Death Touch and Lifelink, you're already going to be healing to where you're not going to be able to worry about your health. You're going to just attack. With Death Touch, your opponents are going to have to be afraid of when they block you. And with Hexproof, they just can't stop you. Moving on to our next card on the list, we're now going to look at Cosmos Elixir. Now, this card may come as a little bit of a surprise to some of you out there, but I actually am a big supporter of this card. I found it really popular in Orzhov and, of course, in Mono White. Any deck, I should say, that benefits off of healing every turn. This is 4 for an artifact that says at the beginning of your end step. So already I like this card over Phyrexian Arena because you have to wait until your next turn before you get anything off that. And this is going to give you something at the end of your turn. But at the end of your turn, you draw a card if your life total is greater than your starting life total. So in a game of Commander, if your life total is 41 or higher, in a game of regular Magic, if your life total is 20 or 21 or higher, then you're going to get a draw at the end of your turn. You're basically adding Monarch onto your field. But it says that if your starting total is less than if your total life is less than your starting, then you're actually going to heal 2. So in a crisis situation, you're going to start getting your health back up. This is going to continue to tick up your life. Now, you could play this in Mono White and just consistently have the life gain, and then when you are above your normal starting point, you get the draw, which is something White needs. In Black, you can abuse this by using it to pay for those cards that say pay a life, pay 2 life, do this, do that. Now you're going to start netting your life back because you're going to be pushing yourself into those dangerous zones anyway. So this is just going to be a guaranteed way for you to get your life total. Now, I don't see this card becoming an $8 card. In fact, I don't see this card ever becoming more than $5. However, it is $1.32, and at that price, I think that you can find this in your 99 really well in a game of Commander. I think that this has a lot of potential combo use, and if nothing else, again, I just like it for it's basically Monarch that can't be taken away from you. So, moving on from Cosmos Elixir, again, the thing that Vorinclex took, so we're kind of excited for Phyrexians. We're going to move on and talk about our next card, which will be Skeletal Swarming. Which, at this point, I don't even think I need to say anything anymore. I've already said enough about this card and a couple other cards. I like this card. Get on board, guys. You're going to miss this card when it goes off, when it becomes the big powerhouse that it's destined to become. When Skeleton Tribal takes off, this is the card where everybody who laughed at me for buying so much of this card, it is only 75 cents. For an extended art foil. This is a card that is originally from Dungeons & Dragons, The Adventures into the Forgotten Realms. This is a foil. It is extended art. I've already said that, but I don't care. I can't stress it enough how cool this is. This is the kind of card that is going to become a $20 card in the future, $40 card in the future. If I'm wrong about that, I will eat my cards. Moving on, let's go ahead and take a look at the next card on the list, and we're going to be taking another look at Boss's Chauffeur. Now, I'm not telling you that all the cards that I'm going to talk about are going to make you money one day. Some of these cards I'm going to talk about are just going to be really fun cards that can go in your deck. And these are cards that I don't understand why no one's talking about, why no one's adding. And like, this is a card that you can only get in the Commander decks of Capenna. So let's take a look at Boss's Chauffeur. This card says, Boss's Chauffeur enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to 1 plus the number of other creatures you control. Now, how many times, this is a turn 5 creature. It's an elf, by the way. It's an elf. How many times in White do you think you're going to have less than 3 creatures by turn 5? No, I think you're going to have 5 creatures by turn 5 because you're summoning a whole bunch of little tiny tokens. So you're going to get this on the field. It's going to get 5 +1/+1 counters +1. It is a 6/6 on a 5 mana. I can easily see that happening. It has Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Boss's Chauffeur. Now that means that every token that comes into play is going to trigger. Every regular creature is going to trigger. If you're playing Selesnya, if you're playing mono white, if you're playing Naya, if you're playing Orzhov, if you're playing any white color that plays tokens, I've said this before, I feel like I'm talking this up token decks right now, but that just seems to be the thing. That it's like these are so underappreciated cards that easily fit in those types of decks, especially Elf Tribal right here. I mean, like, put this in your Elf deck, people. When it dies, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token for each +1/+1 counter on it. So you mean to tell me that in a Orzhov deck, you can't see the potential of putting this on the field? Now, you spent 5 mana for this. It's, let's say, okay, it gets 3 because you're playing Orzhov Aristocrat, so you got 3. You got 4 +1/+1 counters on this now. You sacrifice this to any of your outlets, and now you've got 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, how many other more creatures for fuel now? This card is, this is a mana ramp in any Aristocrat deck if I ever saw one. Take a look at this, guys. I'm absolutely loving this card. Now, I'm not saying, again, it's going to be a $20 card. I'm saying that I am surprised it dipped below $5, but whatever, that's fine. We're going to take advantage of the fact that this is a 35-cent to $1 card. Let's get some playsets, guys, and start brewing with it. Moving on from Boss's Chauffeur, we are going to take a look at a reserve list card, and drum roll, we're going to take a look at Very Noble. Now, this card is a reserve list card, and it has currently tanked in price. There was a time where it was over $10 for this card, and now it is sitting at $2 a copy. Now, I like this card. I like it because it's a Lord, and I love when Lords go really low in price because all they're waiting for is a tribal push. Now, this is a Fairy Lord. It says all fairies you control get +0/+1. It also says you can tap it, and all fairies you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. This is absolutely amazing because we are going to Eldraine next year. So I'm getting myself a few copies of this card, and you know what? Just to help get the hype going, guys, I think this is going to be the one that we're going to add another card to our little treasure chest over here. And for those of you paying attention, this is going to be Fairy Noble being added into our little treasure chest so that once we hit 1,000 subscribers, one lucky subscriber is going to win every card in our little treasure chest. I just want to share some of the really cool cards that I get. I get really excited about the stuff that I do pick up, guys, and I want to share that with you because some of these cards I just feel are really underappreciated, and this is a great opportunity to get your hands on some of these cards, and that's why I make these videos, just as a little reminder to everybody at home what cards to keep an eye on. So we're going to go ahead and move it on from Fairy Noble, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next set of cards, and that set will involve a cycle of lands called the Kamigawa Lands. Now, this is going to be a little interesting because something happened when I opened up one of my cards, and we're actually going to get to that in a moment, but I can't wait to share this with you. For right now, we're going to take a look. I did pick up Sokazan, Crucible of Defiance, a couple of Iganjo, Seed of the Empire, and a Takinuma, Abandoned Mire. I've been picking up extended arts, full arts, borderless foils, whatever I can get my hands on. These cards are only going to go up in value, so I definitely recommend that people, if you have not had a chance, that you do pick up some of these cards. The whole cycle of Legend lands from Kamigawa are absolutely stellar. I love them. They're going to be around for a while as far as usability goes. Get them if you're able to. But I gotta say that the people who sent me this Takinuma Abandoned Mire, this is one of the most perfect examples of how to ship a card I have ever seen. They have sleeved it, put it in a hard case, and sleeved it again. And I cannot tell you how often I get so annoyed with tape ending up on my cards, tape ending up on my sleeves, tape ending up on my hard sleeves, and I know that they're technically a courtesy sleeve that is being sent for shipping, but I hate when I'm trying to open a card and you inevitably do damage to the card you paid for. It is so frustrating how some people do not know how to pack cards. Now, I'm not saying that all people don't know how to pack cards, but this right here is such a perfect example that I had to read their little shout out because this came in the mail and I thought this was really cool. Dear customer, Thank you for choosing Microshop to provide you with this sweet, magical cardboard. A little bit about us. We're a fledgling shop hoping to build our online presence with dreams of one day opening an LGS, that's a local game store. We believe in helping grow this game we've all come to love over these past 30 years by instilling that same passion into the next generation of gamers. We would like to ask for your help in making this happen. If you can, please take a moment out of your day to leave an honest and unbiased review of your buying experience. If you did not have a 5-star experience, please contact us so that we may make it right. Happy slinging, and may the odds ever be in your favor. Best Microshop. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Microshop. You guys were absolutely wonderful. I'm very proud to have this in my collection. Very happy with the standards that you guys have set with your shipping and quality. This is a near mint copy of an extended art, and I am very, very happy. I will be leaving a review. Okay, now moving on from this, guys, I'm going to break free from what came in the mail, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of cards that I'd like to speculate on. With our first speculation, we're going to be taking a look at the new card that's coming out called Timeless Lotus. It is a 5-cost legendary artifact that says Timeless Lotus enters the battlefield tapped, and that's totally fine. We've got plenty of ways around that already in the game. And it says tap to add Wooburg mana. Urza exploited nature to power his war machines. In time, nature exploited his war machines to renew itself. So this card is exactly the reason why I want to talk about Fist of Suns. Fist of Suns says it is 3 mana for an artifact that says you may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you play. This card was looking at wanting to be more than $15. It never quite got there because it did not have enough of a push and it did not have enough of a reason. However, with this new card, Timeless Lotus, I think this is finally going to crack that $15 and stay above that $15 mark. In fact, it may even begin to creep even higher because already this is a good card. This card is going to replace all of your regular mana costs for 5, one of each, the Wooburg colors, and Timeless Lotus is going to tap to just say, play one of the cards in your hand for free. I like this 2-card combo. It's a great way to put 10 and higher cost cards out. Progenitist has never cost less than free before. Now, we've already seen cards like this already in form of Morabhon the Boundless. But Morabhon the Boundless only worked in a tribal sense. When you combo Fist of the Suns and Timeless Lotus in the same deck, this is a colorless combo. Now, granted, it requires that you're playing 5-color Commander in order to play either of these cards, but even outside of Commander, in other formats, this is going to be a very efficient 2-card combo. And for our final card that I would like to speculate, this is Rogar Kir Keep Overlord. This is a very popular card. It is a kobold commander. It says other kobolds you control get +2/+2. Whenever you cast a kobold spell, you may pay 2 mana. If you do, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Whenever you cast a dragon spell, create a 0/1 red kobold creature token named Kobolds of Kir Keep, or Near Keep, or Kir. Anyway, the important thing here is that kobolds finally have a commander, and kobold has been going crazy right now. In fact, if we were to take a look at Roga here, and not this Roga, but the original Roga, we will note that he has currently been going up in price. What happened here? Roga of Near Keep. It has gone up in price. You can see this little upward tick right there. And I have seen it selling for as high as $150. It is currently going for $78.95, somewhere between there, $78.95. But I definitely would keep an eye on these cards because kobolds are going to start looking really fun in the near future. And the one card I would like to definitely remind you guys about right now is his son, Rograk, son of Roga. This is a 0-cost kobold. What more do you need? You're going to be giving +1, +1, +2, +2, +4, +4. This guy is going to be deadly with First Strike, Menace, and Trample. And on top of that, with the new legendary Kamigawa Lands, you want as many legendary creatures as possible lately. And this is a 0 cost. It has been staying really cheap, and it is only 30 cents. But for that reason, I'd like to remind people to pick up a card before it gets out of hand and it becomes the kind of thing that's now all of a sudden a $5, $8 card, and people are like, I can't get 4 of them anymore because they're too expensive for me. Now's your chance to get a hold of this card before an upward tick takes it out of your range. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. This has been absolutely wonderful going over the cards that have come in the mail. I love every one of you, the people who actually care about this channel, who care about the cards, who care about the game. I thank all of you so much for supporting. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's quite the blessing to know so many people out there care and watch this station. Thank you guys so much again. Tune in next week for another Magic Mail Monday, and in the meantime, stay tuned for further content coming down the line. Until next time, guys, I wish you calm sailing on smooth seas.